Over the past few months we've had our fair share of niggly bits that have been needed fixing on the car campers that we use. Firstly, we replaced the front brake pads and discs on the Galaxy, and then we had to swap out a caliper on the Kia, aka the biscuit tin. Then came the big one. After a nice little mini break in Mallorca with my wife's sidekick Bob, came home to find the Ford Galaxy unstartable, and it didn't matter what I tried to do, jump starting or jump kits, nothing would get her running. Which left me with only one choice, to get it towed down to a garage that I knew could fix the job. And one reconditioned alternator later, she was back up and running, although not completely 100%. You see, even though the alternator had been fixed, it had left the battery virtually dead and needing replacing. That hasn't been done yet, which has left me with an even bigger issue. Whoa, living on a prayer, take my hand and I'll make it one life. Let's get together and Beelzebub has a devil set aside for me, for lipping it. I can't carry on any longer like this. I know it's a Wayne's World classic, but this is ridiculous. Let me pull over. You see, there's many facets and parts to an automobile that get it moving from A to B. Wheels, engines, bearings, injectors, and many other parts. But there's one humanistic thing in the car that makes all that driving, for us, actually possible. And that, my friends, is the ruddy stereo. But over the past few months, we haven't had that luxury. Because we've been disconnecting the battery multiple times, or it's been going flat, that's taken out the stereo, and that stereo now wants a code to get it working again. And I know what you're gonna say, just get the code off the stereo by pressing number 1 and 6, which will show me a little number which I can input to the internet, and then get the code that I then need to actually put in there and get it all working again. Problem is, this is not a standard model, and I actually can't get the proper code off there. It's either a V or an M number for these Ford stereos. So instead, I'm gonna have to remove the stereo, and in hope that there's a sticker on top of there that actually gives me the code that then I can put into the internet to actually get the 4-digit code to unlock the stereo. Luckily, I'd been driving through a dodgy housing estate a few nights ago, and I'd stumbled across some shady gangster looking kids that had given me these for a sneaky wedge of cheese, a set of stereo removal blades. These then plug into the stereo at 4 points, and with that you're then able to remove the unit and pull it out. And as luck would have it, the sticker and the number we want is on top where we expected. Now with that code, I was able to jump on the Tinterweb and found the cheapest place I could get the code from. I say cheap, as it should have been free, but nevertheless I quickly inputted the code and couldn't believe, in all honesty, that it was only feet 69. Who would have thought of it? But then we were through to the final stage where, yes, of course, we could wait 24 hours for the code, or as most people will do, you could play a bluey to have that ultimate satisfaction given straight to you. Guess which one I did. Well, the stereo's working, the crib's all fully loaded, and I've even got supplies in the fridge for the next 4 days. All is well in my world. But unfortunately, even though everything's fandangly great in my world, as spring starts slowly creeping towards summer, things are not awesome in the van life scene and world, are they? Because if you're realistic, the government and the councils don't want us van lifing out in the wilds. If you're on a campsite, they don't give a shiznit. But if you want to do your own thing, even though you got road tax and all the rest of it, yeah, they don't want you doing it. And more over the past few years, it's becoming more evident. New signs spotting up in parking spots that used to be able to stay, spots disappearing mysteriously off park for night that used to be great. and bans and such being put into effect all over the place, and none more so than a spot that's been up and down and in and out of the news for about the past 6 months. A little spot down in a place called Scarborough, a one-way dead-end road that lies along a beach down there, and for years and decades people have overnighted there and enjoyed the spot with no bother. But about 6 months ago the council put a tester 18-month ban in. I've heard mixed reports about what's going on down there and why it was put into effect and such, and I have stayed there myself before, and I think it's a real shame that yet again we're losing another overnighting spot out in the wilds. So I figured I'd go down and check it out and see what's really going on down there, and see if we can have a chat with a few people that maybe been staying there for a while, and see if we can fathom out what's really going on down there and whether the ban is still in effect. It's about a 2-hour drive from where I am. So for now, I'll catch you closer to the spot. Oh, here we are then, the Caton Bay area. Let me check this left-hand side out first. Well, this is all a bit strange. I'd expected to come down here and see signs and not see motorhomes parked up. According to the news reports, what I've sort of read and found out, they put a ban into effect in about October, November time last year, and the ban was for 18 months and it's still in effect, but there's no signs up saying no overnight parking. Makes me wonder if there's something over the other side. Bit weird. Let's go have a look. Few signs down this side then, but nothing saying you can't overnight park, just beach parking. This up here is where most people overnight, this stretch. Oh, a couple of campers up here, big old motorhome, couple of 3.
Your destination is on the left.
Let's join the crowds. Well, here we go then, down in the main spot. Like I say, this is pretty much where everyone stays. A few over the other side. We've just bumped into some locals and pretty much got the whole full story. It's not just this spot that's got an 18-month ban in it by the local council. There's 3 spots. They were saying here, they think the next one is Saltburn, and they're also saying like Scarborough South or something. There's an area down near the beach where you used to be able to overnight. They were saying, I believe Saltburn, they decided to ban that because they were getting people down there with massive motorhomes parking and taking 3 or 4 spaces up overnight, and then when the locals were coming down in the morning they had nowhere to park. And on top of that, they were getting idiots lighting fires and having bonfires on the car park down near the beach. This area, they were saying that people were staying for weeks and months upon end, and that they were leaving mass amounts of rubbish up here. They're all valid points or excuses that may be needed to just put another overnighting ban in and take away spots where we can stay overnight. And even those locals were saying that down in Scarborough South and Saltburn down the way, all the VANLIFE was using all the facilities down there, pubs and bars and restaurants and shopping and such, and they were bringing in money to the economy, and especially during the summer seasons, and these places need that business to keep thriving. Whether they'll bring it back and give us these spaces again in 18 months time, I don't know, but I think the real crux of it is, rather than discriminating, can't they facilitate? I mean, look at this area. The locals have just said exactly the same. This is a big dead-end road, a big area where everybody used to park for decades upon end. They could make this an official overnighting spot, like they do in Europe. Make it an air, so you can actually stay here. Or maybe charge down in Saltburn a few pounds to stay overnight. Like they said, I think everybody would be up for it. 3 or 4 quid to stay on the beach overnight in your van in the town. Failing that, we're back to the apps, the Park for Night and the Park for You and all the rest of those, just to find spots and keep up on the inf of the places that are still available. And I tell you now, just looking around this area, there's a couple of spots, or one in particular that I stayed at years ago, that's been removed off the Park for Night. Might show it you in a future episode. For now, even though there's no signs around here, have a feeling that these vans may move later. The locals were saying that you can park here from 6 till 10 at night. And be it that there's no signs around here, I'm thinking that the council might come round and just move people on. I don't know whether they can or not. I don't really know what the law stands. And I guess in some ways, that's another way they've got us for not parking overnight in spots. Not knowing the law proper. But I'm not going to risk it. I don't want the hassle of the police or the council coming round. I think there's a couple of random laybys that I saw on Park for Night, not too far from here. And it's kind of on the route to where I want to be for tomorrow. So for now, yeah, I think we'll go check one of them out. Right, change of plan. And I need to explain why. I've just been having a look on Park for Night, and to be honest, all the other spots around here look bloody grim. They're just random little laybys on the side of really busy roads with no views and just in gnarly little spots. Look at what we've got here. A pure sea view, and even quite a nice beach just down the way. On top of that, I've just spoken to this gentleman who tells me he's been here for a few days and he's had absolutely no bother, no one coming down at night to tell him to move on or anything. There's quite a few here as well, probably a couple of caravans and bits as well that have maybe also been here for a few days. And in some ways you could argue that's exactly what the problem is here, but in other ways you could also argue that the way the country is at the minute, there's quite a few people actually living in vehicles like this, and these are the places that they actually need. It's out of the way and they're not bothering anyone. He did tell me there's a couple of vans up the way that have got a turbine set up and a load of crap around their vans, and they've been there for months, and I think they're the issues. Now if the council have an issue with them, they should deal with them. But in hindsight, with people needing spots like this to stay at, really the right and compassionate thing is to leave it open for people to use, which even though they've put the ban into effect, seems to be what they're doing. All the signs have disappeared and no one's coming down in the evening. So it's not that I'm about to boo-hoo the law here or anything, but the other spots look crap. There's no bother here. And we've got a sea view. And that's all I need to get in the back and put the kettle on. Let's go. Damn it, this is a nightmare. Look where I'm parked. It's like, as soon as I get out of the car, I'm just stepping into sludgy mud. There's a little bit of concrete over there. I don't know if it'll be level though. Oh, I've got me chopped, but I don't want to get muddy. I reckon I can half inch on that grass and then I can get out onto concrete. Should be level. Give it a go. Ooh. Gotta tell you, coming in, momentum is key. It's quite sludgy, that mud. I've now stopped and I don't have momentum. I hope you can get out in the morning. Let's worry about it later. Oh, it should be right. Bit of grass. Yeah, front wheel drive. Should be right. Doesn't look like anyone's slid or skid ever before. Be right. Oh, crap, that's heavy. Oh, I've got to be honest as well, mate. Oh, we had a week in the van last week and it feels so good to be back in the crib. I can't believe I'm saying it. Oh, hang on. Let me just get uncomfortable and bend me back. One sec. Yeah, mate, that's the spot. Oh, wicked. Oh, I can almost sit up straight. Brilliant, that's nice. It does genuinely feel good to be back in the crib though. It's been a bit of a weird week, to be honest. I've MOT both the cars. This little puppy dog passed with flying colours. The Kia, however, did not. She's got a little bit of work needs doing to her to get her through the MOT. So saying that, it's genuinely nice to be away, having had a bit of a nightmare week with the cribs and a few other bits, and actually to be out in one of the cribs, having now it got a full 12 months MOT, and I don't have to worry about it for another year. To be fair, it seems a bit weird talking about keeping the cars on the road at the minute, because if you follow the social medias, I put a post up this week, I've actually been out looking for a van. And even weirder because I wasn't actively looking for a van. I'll be perfectly honest, we've just come back from Thailand from a 3-month trip, and the cheese cellar's a little bit sparse, let's say. But this has come along and it's within a budget that I can do. I got to be realistic. With everything that's transpired, there's no way at this time of the year I'm going to be going out and forking out sort of 8 or 10 grand for a van. It could be years before I do that. This is £2,500. It's doable. And it's also a decent van. It's a Ford Transit, long one and very, very high. And like I said, when I wanted a van, the one thing I wanted from it was to be able to stand up in it. It is a massive project though. It's got a big rack on the side which got bolts through the van. It needs those filling, and then eventually it's going to need them welding and possibly a respray as well, maybe down one side. That's before I even think about converting the inside. In terms of the engine, I like it. It's got 140 on the clock. There's not a lot of rust. What rust there has been dealt with already. Stands to reason you're going to get that. It's a 2010 model and it's a Ford Transit. You know, this car's a 2007 and this has had niggly bits as well. Like I say, I'm not going to be going out spending 8 or 10 grand on a van or even more and getting something that's 3 or 4 or 5 years old. These are the options and these are the realistic ones. And I think it's a realistic option to get us in the van market or in the van life scene. It's a massive van inside and it's got really good potential for kitting it out and making it a decent home on wheels. Now, like I say, I haven't bought it yet, but I'm very, very tempted. This video is going to drop in a couple of days and I was thinking of maybe toying with the idea of picking it up on the weekend. So any feedback or thoughts you guys have got on the van, yeah, I'm well up for it. The one thing I will say is I'm a little bit apprehensive for one main reason. I don't know if I'm going to be biting off more than I can actually chew. You know me, I'm not a skilled worker, I'm not a skilled labourer. This is something I've never done before and it's well out of my ballpark or my comfort zone. But I'm up for it. I think you've got to be. If you're going to take a van on to convert, you've got to be up for a challenge. And it will be a challenge. And it's going to be quite hard work. But I couldn't end up with a really nice van. And you know, it's a Ford Transit, 2010, 140 on the clock, which sounds yay or nay, but when you consider there's things like T4 still driving around from the mid-90s with 300,000 on the clock and they're still going and being patched up here and there, I think it's a decent van to have. Will it be my forever van? No, I don't think it will be. But at the minute, I couldn't tell you what would be my forever van. And maybe that's one of the reasons I should take it on. To get into that van market and get a feel for it. Like with the car camping, you build your setup as you go. And I think it'd be a similar thing with the van. You build it up as you go, and then over the years, maybe you're going to swap it out for another one because you've liked bits from that and you've not liked bits from it and you know more what you want from the future vehicle. It's an ongoing thing, isn't it, once you get into the van life? And it's a great scene to get into. So it could be a first good vehicle. It's big. A lot bigger than what I'm used to. But hey, we'll see how we go. For now, it's a cup of tea. Oh, I can't see my breath, but I'll tell you what, it feels like I should have to. It's really cold, I don't get it. It's the middle of March at the minute. It should be getting warm, but I think Scotland had snow a few days ago. I think I'm going to have to cook some food and warm the crib up. Oh, I've got to be honest though, I'm feeling a little bit subdued at the minute. So when an idler earlier, expecting to get one of their ready meals, you know, the teriyaki or the sweet and sour that I've had 1,000 times and never liked, and it seems as if progression stops for no man or woman, i.e. it looks like they've stopped doing them and moved on to normal food, which I guess is good because I never really liked them, but it's also bad. So it means I've actually got to cook normal meals and really cook food rather than just kind of reheat shiznick. Although, I did have a good hunt round and I have found the Asian section. Oh yes, which included chicken udon noodles. Dude, these are actually udon noodles. I don't even know they're like real udon noodles, but if they're udon noodles, then they're from Udon, which is northeast Thailand. actually a place called Udentana, where like tons of expats live. It's such a random spot. It couldn't be further away from any of the tourist areas. It literally is sort of an area in the middle of rice fields, in the middle of nowhere. Big town now, because it's got an expat community of about 80,000 people. The reason being, a lot of the girls that have met Farang are from that area, and they come down to the tourist areas. They've met the guys, and yeah, a lot of them have moved back up there, and now there's a bit of a weird community up there, and I guess, yeah, a place to sort of hang out as an expat. Nevertheless, let's try some of their noodles, and it should be pretty easy. I think I've just got to fry it off. Legend. Dang it, microwave. We're losing from the start then, aren't we? Epic. Damn it. I knew there was something I forgot. I'm not saying it's dirty or anything, but it's got a bit of a lived-in look. I may have forgot to wash it properly before I left. It'll be all right. Add to the flavour, you know. And I'll just burn it off a quick beforehand. Oh, no. I'll preheat. Oh, yeah. That'll work. Right, it's not smoking, but... Oh! Yep, that's preheated. I don't think I need oil, but hey ho. Oh, I tell you what, I really hope there's not any Thai people watching this. Udon noodles is like, it's sort of not a revered dish, but it's like sheepdog pie or something, or, you know, Yorkshire puddings or something in the UK. It's a dish that everybody eats. Crap, I've just thought, it is a Thai dish. I hope there's no chilli in it. I did try to get the non-spicy one, but yeah. I can't imagine Italy's going to do a good job of it, do you know what I mean? Thai people watching this, they'll be skinning themselves alive and turning themselves inside out with fear. The combination of Igloo noodles and me cooking it, it's not a winner, is it? Oh, God. Oh, it's got that random smell that the teriyaki used to have as well. Genius. Damn, oh no. No, it is sticking. I've had to grab something from under there and I left it unattended for 30 seconds. Also, the microwave said 4 minutes 30. You know what I mean? It's been going 3 minutes. It's as hot as molten lava. There's no way it needs longer than that. Gordon Bennett, oh, I should have watched it. That's going to be a right pain in the butt. Probably the best bit as well. Always, isn't it? Best bit sticks to the pan. Right, to say that I'm not expecting much is a slight underestimation. I mean, it cooked in a whole 2 minutes, but hey ho, udon Thai noodles from Midler. Yeah, I don't know. It just tastes like generic pre-made idler food. It all tastes the same, and this does. It's all right, and I'll probably buy it again.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight.
Morning, and happy to announce the Caton Bay overnighting spot is still in full effect, mate. No bother through the night, and no ticket on the car this morning, and surprisingly, because there's no signs around here saying you can't overnight, and I'm genuinely pretty chuffed. Those wild camping van lifers who get condemned more and more as the months and years go on, so to still have this spot available to us is bloody brilliant, and it spurred me on for what I'm going to do today. I've got a little bumble hike about 2.5 miles up the way in a little town called Filey. Not sure I've ever been down there, so it should be a real nice little hike. Gets down onto the beach and then all around the town. So for now, I'm going to clean up the crib and I'll catch you closer to when we get down there. I need a new battery, I know, but they're 150 quid, and that was the same as the fuel I'm going to use on this trip. I had choices, and this is the choice I made. No jump start kit, we're all right, let's just keep going. I was supposed to park here according to Park for Night, but we're in the Tesco's, and I think we've been cameraed as we came in, which leaves us with precisely 1 hour and 22 minutes and 34 seconds to go around and do our thing and get back. There's no way I want a ticket from Tesco's. Let's rumble. Good news though, we're on an official trail. Oh yes, the Filey Town and Beach Loop. Good news as well, we've got a bloody trail, because I was heading the wrong way to the beach. Apparently it's this way. Oh, I can already smell the chip shop. Oh, tempting. Absolute genius name for it as well. Look, the old fish shop. The Corner Fish Shop. I wonder how they come up with that. Right next to the Chicken Express. Oh, competition in full effect. I reckon the Corner Chicken's got it though. Look what popular. Nice. East Coast, man. Suns are shining. Mid-March. Spring's here, summer's on the way. Ah, these are the times to get over to these places, and they are freaking beautiful. You know, for me personally, all seems a bit, I have this vision of it run down and in ill repute and such, but still bloody beautiful places. I know the towns are a little bit run down, but that's the same everywhere over the UK. The coastline and the scenery, yeah, that's still there, and it's still the same. Beautiful. Saying all that though, this place looks all right. I mean, it's not massive, it's a small little town with a beach at the end of it, but plenty of bits going on. Got your old sticker rocks at the Maynards, little bakery. Lay me bets on the horses. Not. Damn, they've even got a Dixon's. That could possibly be the last Dixon's in the whole of the UK. Yeah, looks a nice little town. Plenty of people meandering round. It's a Tuesday today, midweek. Nice. Oh, they've even got a cask marquee pub. Look, the 3 tons. I'm pretty sure I knew a girl in Thailand called that. Sam Ton. Sam being the name for 3. Yeah, I don't know. More importantly, the beach. Ay caramba. Look at this for a beach. Wow, real sandy crop. I mean, it's pretty blowy and pretty bleak and windy today. I was just thinking, like, when global warming kicks into full effect, places like this are going to be beautiful. Wow, what a stunner. I had no idea. Good Lord, I've definitely never been down here before. What a spot, what an amazing, beautiful beach. Blimey, it stretches all the way up as well. Wow. What a spot. Filey Beach, everybody. Oh wow, that's nice. A little seal sculpture. Cool. It's a pretty good spot for seal spotting down there. There's a number of places along the east coast. I think Flamborough Point or something's just down the way. Been down there before. There's a few other spots where you can see the seals. I'm hoping, I'll hold my hands up, in a couple of episodes to be hitting a spot where we can hopefully see them. It's been a while. Mate. Oof. That couple I was speaking to last night, the locals, about that spot, they were from Manchester. They just moved down here to live. You can see why, can't you? It's beautiful. Even with all the shiznit that's going on around the UK. Yeah, these spots have still got that old school, nice community vibe. I've seen it in a lot of places. It's very nice. Before they had some beach huts down here, I was wondering where they were. Pretty cool, aren't they? A little spot right next to the beach. I've got to tell you, I'll bet they're about £50,000 or something. Did read something, I can't quite remember. There was one, and I honestly can't remember where it is in the UK. You must have seen it on the news recently. A beach hut that's on the market or been sold for £380,000 for a beach hut. World's gone mad. Well, we've had the laydown from the locals. Cheers, boss. And apparently they're not for sale. They're owned, I don't know if it's the Filey Council or the Scarborough Council, but they're owned by the council, and you can rent them out for, wait for it, you're not gonna believe this. No, not £1,000 a week, or 150 quid a week, mate. An actual reasonable price on something for a change in this world. Yeah. Now, whether you can sleep in them or not is debatable. They were saying you might get away with it, but it's a little bit frowned upon. But yeah, to have use of a beach up for a week, 150 quid. There are some, he was saying, down in Scarborough that went up for sale a number of years ago, and it was kind of a raffle between the locals, and they were up for £800. He says recently they've been changing hands for 50, 60,000 pounds a pop. So yeah, forget your crypto. If you want to invest in something, buy yourself a cheap beach up. Wow, what a trail. If you're ever in Filey and want to sort of a bumble around for a couple of miles, jump on the old trails and grab this route. Bit of everything, bit of town, bit on the beach, and now up in the woodland area. Oof, stunning. Sights, I found it. Well, bit of a confession then. We're back in the spot. I cut that trail halfway and headed back to Tesco's. I was running out of time talking to everybody, and I was going to end the video at Tesco's, and I think this is probably more of an apt place to end it. See, I've come back here and I've been talking to this gentleman, and it seems in the 2 hours that I wasn't here, the council has been down and they've knocked on everybody's van up along this way and informed them in 2 weeks time they're going to be closing the road down for overnighting, and signs are going to be put up all along here. So that wonderful good vibe this morning of this spot still being available for overnighting isn't actually true. It's going to be another one that's going to be gone. And the councils were saying that, yep, they're just slowly going around the coastlines and closing all these spots down. So within a year or so, none of us are going to be able to overnight down here near the coastline. It's going to be a thing of the past, which I'll be honest is shit and seems typically British. When we can all get on a ferry for an hour and drive over to Europe, and all through Europe it's completely accommodated and facilitated, and yet here in England they don't want to know. I'll admit this particular spot up the way is becoming and looking like a bit of a traveller's site, so in that respect I kind of get it, but it's all pros and cons. But for now and for this video, it's kind of the end of the tale for this episode, and not the best ending. It's a shame, but it is what it is. For now, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. It's been a bit of a different one, getting down here and finding out what the scene's all about, or all transpiring into. But whatever you're getting up to, you know, there's still some spanking spots out there. Get out and use them while we still can. And whatever you're getting up to, take it easy, enjoy the camp, and stay stealthy.